يا ليتها كانت القاضية.
Oh, would that the death that came to me in the world had made an end of me.
18. That is, I should have become extinct after death in the world and should have experienced no other life after death.
ما أغنى عني مالية.
My riches have not availed me,
هلك عني سلطانية.
and my authority has vanished.
19. The word sultan of the text is used both for an argument and for power and authority. If it is taken in the sense of an argument, the meaning would be, the arguments that I used to give would not work here. Here, I have no argument which I can present in self-defense. And if it is taken in the sense of power, it would imply, the power of which I was so proud in the world is no more. I have no army here and there is none to obey me. I stand as a miserable helpless creature, who can do nothing to defend himself.
خذوه فغلوه.
A command will be issued, seize him and shackle him.
ثم الجحيم صلوه.
Then cast him into the fire.
ثم في سلسلة ذرعها 70 ذراعا فاسلكوه.
Then fasten him with a chain, 70 cubits long.
إنه كان لا يؤمن بالله العظيم.
He would not believe in Allah, the Most Great.
ولا يحض على طعام المسكين.
Nor would he urge the feeding of the poor.
I stand as a miserable helpless creature, who can do nothing to defend himself. 20. That is, not to speak of feeding a poor man himself, he did not even like to say to others that they should feed the hungry.
فليس له اليوم هاهنا حميم.
Today he has been left here friendless.
ولا طعام إلا من غسلين.
And has no food except the filth from the washing of wounds.
لا يأكله إلا الخاطئون.
Which only the sinners will eat.
فلا أقسم بما تبصرون.
But no, I swear by what you see.
21. That is, the truth is not as you think it to be.
وما لا تبصرون.
And by what you do not see.
إنه لقول رسول كريم.
That this is the speech of an honorable messenger.
22. Here, a noble messenger implies the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and in Surah At-Takwir, Ayat 19. The angel Gabriel, the argument being that after describing the Quran as the word of an honorable messenger, it has been said, it is not the word of a poet nor of a soothsayer, and obviously the disbelievers of Makkah branded the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and not Gabriel as a poet and soothsayer. And not Gabriel as a poet and soothsayer. On the contrary, in Surah At-Takwir, after describing the Quran as the word of a noble messenger, it has been said, that messenger has great power, and has high ranks with the owner of the throne. There he is obeyed and held as trustworthy. And Muhammad, peace be upon him, has seen him on the bright horizon. Verses 20 to 23. Almost the same thing has been stated in Surah An-Najm, ayats 5 to 10, about Gabriel. Here, the question arises, in what sense has the Quran been described as the word of Muhammad, peace be upon him, and of Gabriel? The answer is, The people were hearing it being recited by the tongue of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, by the tongue of Gabriel. Thereupon, in one way it was the word of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and in another way of Gabriel, but a little below it has been explicitly stated, it is indeed a revelation from the Lord of the worlds, which is being presented before Muhammad, peace be upon him, by the tongue of Gabriel, and before the people by the tongue of Muhammad, peace be upon him. The word messenger itself points to the truth that the word belongs to either of them, but they have presented it as messengers of the one who has sent it down.
وما هو بقول شاعر قليلا ما تؤمنون.
Not the speech of a poet, little do you believe.
23. One meaning of little it is that you believe, according to Arabic idiom, can be, you do not believe it at all. Another meaning also can be, hearing the Quran your heart sometimes itself cries out, this cannot be mortal word, yet you behave stubbornly and refuse to believe in it. 20.
ولا بقول كاهن قليلا ما تذكرون.
Nor is this the speech of a soothsayer, little do you reflect.
تنزيل من رب العالمين.
It has been revealed by the Lord of the universe.
24. In short, I swear by whatever you see and by whatever you do not see that this Quran is not the word of a poet or a soothsayer, but it is a revelation from the Lord of the worlds, which is being presented by the messenger, peace be upon him, who is noble and gentle. Let us now consider in what sense this oath has been sworn. That which was visible to the people was, 1. This word was being presented by a person who, being noble and gentle, was not hidden from anybody in the society of Makkah. Everyone knew that he was the best man of their nation in conduct. It could not be expected of such a man that he would forge a lie and attribute it to Allah, Lord of the worlds. 2. They also saw clearly that he had no selfish motive in presenting that word before the people, but had rather sacrificed all his personal interests to it. He had ruined his business, he had abandoned every ease and comfort, he was being cursed and abused by the same people who had shown him the highest veneration and esteem, and had caused even his family and children to be subjected to these agonies besides himself. A person having selfish motives could not have submitted himself to such tribulations. 3. They could also see that the lives of the people in their own society, who believed in him, underwent a sudden transformation. The word of no poet or soothsayer has been known to have brought about such a wonderful moral change in the people that his followers should become ready to face every hardship and bear up against every persecution for his sake. 4. They were also not unaware of the language of poetry and the diction of the soothsayers. Apart from stubborn disbelievers, no one could say that the language of the Quran was the language of poetry or sorcery. For a detailed discussion of this, see N. 7 of Surah Al-Anbiya, NS 142-145 of Surah Ash-Shura, N. 22 of Surah At-Tur. 5. This also was before their eyes that no one in entire Arabia was so eloquent of speech that his word could be brought to match with the Quran. Not to speak of equaling it, not even the greatest poet's eloquence could even approach anywhere near that of Quran. 6. This was also not hidden from them that the language used by Muhammad, peace be upon him, himself was very different in its literary beauty and merit from the language of the Quran. No Arabic-speaking person could, after hearing the Prophet's, peace be upon him, own speech, and the Quran, say that both emanated from one and the same person. 7. The people of Makkah had never heard, even until a day before Muhammad, peace be upon him, made the claim to prophethood, anything relating to the themes that the Quran consisted of, nor they knew that he had any means of obtaining that knowledge and information. That is why even if his opponents alleged that he obtained that information secretly from somewhere, no one in Makkah was prepared to believe it. For explanation, see N. L07 of Surah An-Nahl, and N. 12 of Surah Al-Furqan. 8. They could also see the wonderful workshop of existence, from the earth to the heavens, which was functioning before their eyes, and in which they could see a supreme, wise law and an all-pervading order and system at work. In it they could see no sign and evidence of the polytheism and denial of the hereafter, which the Arabs had adopted as their creed, but there were signs and proofs of the existence of one God and of the truth of the hereafter which the Quran was presenting. All this they could see, and what they did not see was, Allah Almighty alone is the Creator and Master and Ruler of this universe. All others are only creatures. None beside Him is God. Resurrection has to take place inevitably. Muhammad, peace be upon him, has really been appointed a messenger by Allah Himself who is sending down the Quran to him. An oath has been sworn by both truths to affirm that which has been stated in the preceding verses.
وَلَوْ تَقَوَّلَ عَلَيْنَا بَعْضَ الْأَقَاوِيلِ
And if he, i.e. the Prophet, had forged this discourse and thereafter ascribed it to us,
لَأَخَذْنَا مِنْهُ بِالْيَمِينِ
we would surely have seized him by the right hand,
ثُمَّ لَقَطَعْنَا مِنْهُ الْوَتِينَ
and then severed his life vein.
فَمَا مِنْكُمْ مِنْ أَحَدٍ عَنْهُ حَاجِزِينَ
And not one of you would have been able to withhold us from doing so.
25. The object is to impress the point that the Prophet, peace be upon him, has no authority whatsoever to make any change in the revelation. If he did so, he would be severely punished. The style depicts the prompt and quick action of a king who strikes off the head of an official, holding him by the hand, if he commits a forgery in his name. Some people have misconstrued this verse to mean that if the heart vein or neck vein of an impostor is not immediately severed by Allah, it would be a proof that he was a true prophet, whereas in this verse what has been said is about a true prophet, and not about the impostors. Same impostors have even claimed to be God and have thrived and lived long lives in the world, so it could not be a proof of the truth of their claim. For a full discussion of this question see E.N. 23 of Surah Yunus.
وَإِنَّهُ لَتَذْكِرَةٌ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ
Surely, it is a good counsel for the God-fearing.
26. That is, the Quran is an admonition for those who wish to avoid wrongdoing and its evil consequences. For explanation see N. 3 of Surah Al-Baqarah.
وَإِنَّا لَنَعْلَمُ أَنَّ مِنْكُمْ مُكَذِّبِينَ
We certainly know that some among you will give the lie to it.
وَإِنَّهُ لَحَسْرَةٌ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ
And surely it will be a cause of regret for the unbelievers.
27. That is, they will ultimately have to despair and regret as to why they had rejected this. It would be a proof.
وَإِنَّهُ لَحَقُّ الْيَقِينِ
Certainly, it is a truth of absolute certainty.
فَسَبِّحْ بِاسْمِ رَبِّكَ الْعَظِيمِ
So glorify the name of your Lord, most great.